Where does Egypt stand on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? Can the Egyptian ambassador say the ousting of Hosni Mubarak in 2011 translated into an Egypt free from military rule? How is the South Africa-Egypt Joint Bilateral Commission expected to benefit the two countries? And what is the purpose of the upcoming World Youth Forum in Egypt? What time is it? It's question time. Khotsong, Muraro, Rula, welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The history of the Arab Republic of Egypt is not complete without mentioning the October 1973 Arab-Israeli War. It shaped the political dynamics and the balance of power in the Middle East. The war also changed the face of the U.S.'s foreign policy towards the Middle East. Popularly known as the Yum Kippur War in Israel, some historians say while the Arab world has little to show in terms of victories, it served to show that Israel was not invincible. Egypt's political landscape has moved with the times, though, its highlight being the ousting of Hosni Mubarak from power in 2011 during a wave of the so-called Arab Spring popular uprisings. A similar scenario occurred in 2013 when former President Mohammed Morsi was deposed following mass protests. Incumbent Abdel Fattah, el-Sisi, who played a key role at the time, was sworn in as president on 8 June 2014. Aside from the political dynamics in Egypt and the region, that is, the Nile River water tensions remain a contentious issue. The country maintains sound bilateral relations with South Africa, on the other hand. The Tripartite Free Trade Agreement and the development of the North-South Corridor are aimed at boosting regional economic integration. Egypt will be a hive of activity from early November when it will be hosting the World Youth Forum. We are live, and if you can call us, the number to dial is 089-110-4210. Internationally, +27891104210. Our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. My guest today is Excellency Sharif Issa. He's the ambassador of Egypt to South Africa, and we welcome him. Ambassador, welcome to the show, and we appreciate you making time.
Thank you for hosting me. Thank you very much, Mr. Mpho. It's a pleasure for me.
Well, I think let me just get you to deal with the first question which I posed.
Great.
Where does Egypt stand on the on the Palestinian-Israeli war?
You mean the Palestinian-Israeli conflict?
Yeah, well,
yes,
the war, it's never ending.
It is a conflict that Egypt is playing a main role in order to settle this problem. We believe in the two-state solution.
Yeah.
We're working on it. First, the conciliation between the different Palestinian groups.
Yeah.
We hosted Hamas and Fatah in Egypt, and we're working hard to bring them together, and it is successful, and we succeeded in that. We're working hard to succeed also in getting the Palestinians and the Palestinian together. We believe that we can do it. We did it before, in 1978, with Israel. We had a peace treaty that is last until now. Yeah. And we believe we can do it with the Palestinians.
Well, you've been accused of siding with Israel. Others are saying, yeah, they are selling out and all that.
We are siding to the Israeli. We're working to solve the problem with the Palestinian and the Israelis.
Yeah.
Our security is to have a stable region, stable neighboring countries. Yeah. Palestine is a neighboring country to us. And we believe that the stability in Palestine would bring stability to Egypt.
Okay. But there's something, I will be failing in my duty if I don't raise this.
Tell me.
The freedom of the press in Egypt is something worrisome. I mean, Al Jazeera journalists are still being charged there and all that. Why are my colleagues not able to practice free trade?
No, maybe I would correct this.
Okay.
I would tell you without any exaggeration that we had hundreds of channels, television channels working in Egypt, private and governmental. Yes. And we have foreign news agencies working in Egypt freely. When you mentioned Al Jazeera, I don't think that if a channel works against the interests, your national interests, and hosts people who encourage terrorism, could be left to freely broadcast and work in my country. we should take an action. We never stop freedom of expression, but we stop financing terrorism and encouraging terrorism. So we cannot say that the Jazeera is free opinion. It is encouraging terrorism. And this reporter who is now in front of the court is charged with criminal charges. So he needs to prove innocent in order to be free. If not, he will be charged as any other, not any other person who committed something that deserves to be charged with.
But how free is the judicial system in Egypt?
No, it's completely free. We have a complete separation between the powers in Egypt and no influence whatsoever, political influence on the juridical system in Egypt, whatsoever.
I would have thought that the ousting of Hosni Mubarak would mean a stable Egypt, but it would appear, I mean, there's still some sporadic incidents of instability here and there. So the Arab Spring was in vain then.
Would I also correct this, because it's not instability. It is, we are passing through a transitional period.
Correct.
After Mubarak, if you can remember that our revolution, who waved away the king in 52, we had 4 presidents after, till the year 2011. So during all those years, we had 4 presidents. And then in 3 years, we had 4 presidents, 2 revolutions. So we are alive. We are alive people. We need to change until we find ourselves in the right position. And I think now we are witnessing a great stability in Egypt, a part of terrorism, which I know that we will discuss this later. But we are building our economy, we are building our country. I think we are doing a good job. My people believes that the future for Egypt is bright. And I think that also South Africa believes in Egypt, and that's why we have intensive cooperation together.
Yeah, but the other thing is also religious tolerance.
What about the religious tolerance? Tell me. My name is Jesus. I'm a Muslim with a Christian name. So I don't think that we have any evidence more than that.
So, but I mean, are other Jesuses allowed to freely, pray?
Do you have any incident that you can tell me that Christians are kept away from praying? Even the president have visited the Christians during the Christmas time, their feasts, yearly now, for the 3rd year continuously. The president goes to the church to salute and give all his regards to the Christians. We do not differentiate between Christians and Muslims in Egypt. We have a good percentage, around between 8 and 10% of our people are Christians, and they're freely practicing their prayers anywhere. Building churches is going on. We have no objection at all for building churches. Even the churches which were burnt during the Muslim Brothers era, rebuilt again now, and they are all completed now. We are building in the new capital. We have the biggest church in the Middle East now under construction. And the first, the January coming year, it will be inaugurated.
And that's fine. I want us to take a quick break. When we return, let's talk about also the politics of the Nile River. I would love for you to speak to that as well. But we're taking a quick break. Reminder that you can call us. The number to dial is 08911042110 or +27891104210. Tweet us. Our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. We shall return shortly.
The only way to pour the perfect beer, this professional barman would tell you, is into a glass tilted at exactly 45 degrees. Oh, bless you. Bless you, sir. Bless you again. Well, we'd say the perfect way to pour a beer is at this angle, straight into your mouth. Tops its bar. Good beer, good advice, no Ponzi beer stuff.
welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is the ambassador of the Republic of Egypt here to South Africa, His Excellency Sharif Issa. And our number is 089-110-4210. Let's go to Bloemfontein. Sbusiso, welcome.
Ndawayando.
Yenda.
Barman. Good.
Yeah.
I think His Excellency is sugarcoating the issue in the Middle East, or so far as the problem between the Israel. Yeah, yes. Because if I'm correct, he says Egypt is resolving the problem. Agreements have been signed. But if you listen to the news or you read the news day in, day out, you will learn that Tel Aviv is expanding. Or in other words, they are building into the territories which are somehow earmarked to be the territories of the Palestine.
Yes.
Now I ask myself as to what does he mean by saying the negotiations that I would presume Cairo is leading in the region are actually succeeding, if really one party in the conflict is the action of that party is contrary to what is being sought to be achieved.
Okay.
One other point is the issue of Al Jazeera. Your question to him was why your colleagues are not be given that freedom of trade, if I understood you correctly, being arrested and so on.
Yes.
And in his response, His Excellency said that the reason for that is because of the fact that they suspect that Al Jazeera somehow supports the terrorist groups. Now, with the little legal understanding that I have, I fail to understand as to why should then be the journalists who are being arrested if it is the organization that is supporting the terrorist groups. I think in law there's a term that they call vicarious liability, meaning that whatever that you as Mpho doing for SABC, working at SABC, we cannot charge you personally, or we cannot hold you personally liable. SABC must be charged. So I would presume that if Al Jazeera is actually supporting the terrorist groups, why then the Cairo government approach the International Court of Justice to try and resolve the problem instead of arresting these journalists who are actually working, trying to earn the bread for their families?
Sbusiso, thank you very much for that question. Ambassador?
Good questions. Would I start with Al Jazeera again? Because to make it clear, the reporter was arrested because of criminal charges. So he's not charged because he's working at Al Jazeera at all. He's charged with criminal charges. And he's in front of court. If he proves that he's innocent, he would be freed.
Okay.
Going to the International Court of Justice, I don't think, I'm an international lawyer, I don't think this is a question that finds the right place.
Okay.
We cannot go to the International Court of Justice to sue the Jazeera. Al Jazeera has been suspended from Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Bahrain. So it's not only in Egypt. Other countries have shut down the offices of Al Jazeera.
Yeah.
So it's not Egypt. Egypt has been a target for the Al Jazeera for years and years.
Okay.
We suffered from hosting terrorists who speaks against the stability in Egypt and works, not only speaks, but works and finance.
Okay.
So when we speak about Al Jazeera, we should know that they are financing, supporting, and if we arrest some reporter, this gentleman who's arrested now is in front of the court. If he proves to be innocent, he will be free.
All right.
The first question, he spoke about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Egypt is against the settlement in the occupied territories, and we are clear about that.
Okay.
I think nobody can ever say that Egypt have never stood beside the Palestinians. We have fought all our wars because of the Palestinian rights.
Yes.
We were defending the Palestinians, and we are against, and we will continue to be against any settlements in the occupied territories.
Okay.
It cannot be. Let me just add something, that when Egypt hosts negotiations and push to finish those negotiations as quick as possible, that's because every day we lose, more settlements are built against our will and your will, and I know the position of South Africa, this pride and the proud position of South Africa against the settlements, and I think that we need to resolve this conflict before the land is taken away.
Let's go to Benoni. Is it Benoni? Lucky, you are in Benoni. Welcome.
Yes, Paul, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call.
I'm fine.
Yes.
Paul, your guest, I heard that he said he's a Muslim.
Yes.
And I just want to ask him, Paul, why Muslims are busy killing Christians, and they say we are worshipping the same God, one God.
Where are Muslims killing Christians?
Afghanistan, they are busy killing Christians. India, they banned 20 Christian churches down.
Okay.
They burned down 20 Christian churches in India, and they said they are still going to kill more Christians.
Okay.
So now, Paul, I just...
Okay, Lucky. Oh, okay, we seem to have lost Lucky there. I had wanted him to ask the question that is directed at the ambassador. Well, the ambassador is not here to speak on behalf of Islam or Muslims all over the world. He's speaking on behalf of the Republic of Egypt, and that's what I want us to talk about mainly. Now, Your Excellency, let's talk about your relationship as a country with South Africa, right?
Yeah.
And I know that you're doing a lot of good things, in taking people on scholarships and all that, and we appreciate that. But what more is there between South Africa and Egypt?
What more? We have a lot, but Mr. Mpo, let me tell you that I heard that you're a very tough presenter. But when I find myself challenging you now, I find it very interesting, and I love it.
Yes.
So I don't want to be a normal host that comes and say things that you can listen and read everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to speak about something that people needs to listen to.
Yeah.
And believe me, I'm sincere. When I answer the questions, I'm straightforward with
Sure.
you. So going back to the Egyptian-South African relations,
yeah.
It started in the year 1940. It's an old relations. And we had strong relations, 1940 up till 1960. With the apartheid regime, we found that this cannot work. In 1960, we received a delegation from the ANC, headed by Madiba,
yes.
the legend,
yes.
Nelson Mandela. And he came to Egypt, and he spoke with Nasser,
yes.
the legend of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
They spoke together. We had an office for the ANC there, and we closed down. We cut the relations with the apartheid regime. Up till 1993. Now we're celebrating this month, October 11th, we are celebrating 24 years of relations. In 1993, we announced that we will have diplomatic relations with the new South Africa,
okay.
the new free South Africa. What do we have to give? We have to give, to mutually give each other a lot. I think that Egypt and South Africa are the top of the continent and the tip of the continent. The two biggest countries in the continent, the greatest economies in the continent. If we cooperate together, we can give all the good examples to the other countries in the continent.
Okay, hold it there.
Yes.
There's only one Cunningham I know, and that is Ngugana. Let's go to Rodipot.
Hi, Mpo, thanks very much. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, I've been listening to you at least on some of the issues. You talk about terrorism. As supported by Qatar. I worked at NEPAD with colleagues from Egypt because as founding countries, and I was heading governance, and Egypt was responsible for trade. But I want to ask you about the role Egypt has played in the conflict in particular in Somalia, because in terms of African scholars, there is a lot of body of evidence of the negative role Egypt has played in that country. The training, the education, the training and the schools that you opened and the people whom you took to train in Egypt, who are causing mayhem in that country because of Egypt. And you then, after that, run away from the mess you have created. The other issue I want to come to is the question of human rights. We see Egypt gradually going back on human rights, violating the rights of journalists, the arrest of the journalist of Al Jazeera. And in fact, I was listening to the spokesperson of Qatar that Egypt and other countries in the Middle East, you wanted regime change in Qatar in a very, very dirty way. Now, you are a country that receives over $2 billion of military aid from the Americans. I do not believe you when you say you support the Palestinians, when Egypt is basically an extension of the Americans in the Middle East. And in terms of the U.S. Foreign policy, you are part of their confederation in MENA. That is why even during the coup, the Americans did not want to recognize President Abdallah al-Sisi as a person who committed a coup. What do you say about those issues?
Cunningham Ngugana, always a pleasure taking your calls.
Nice acquisitions, but I will answer.
Yep.
First, I'd never call it a coup. It's an uprisal of the people of Egypt.
Okay.
And the United States never declined from admitting that this is an uprisal. Mm-hmm. We are not an extension for the Americans, and we work independently. We have all the right to support the Palestinians, and we are doing all the efforts to support them. I will not speak again about Al Jazeera. I said a lot about it. Yeah. And I think that a question that Egypt runs away from Somalia, Egypt never runs. 7,000 years old civilization never runs. 7,000 years old civilization keeps humanity alive, gives humanity the dignity, fight against terrorism. We have never trained any terrorists in Somalia. We have never played any negative role in Somalia. And I doubt very much that any evidence can be given in this field. We have trained some police officers in Somalia in order to keep peace in Somalia, okay, without picking and choosing among them. Those are Muslims. How can we support militants if we are fighting against them? How can we support them? We support the Somalian people.
Okay. Two things.
Yes.
I want you to just tell us briefly about the upcoming youth conference.
Great.
But also the politics of the Nile River. You seem to be some bully. You don't allow people to do things on the Nile River. Wherever the Nile River is, you feel like you own it.
We all own the Nile. What would you like to start with? The youth conference?
Yeah.
Okay, simply the youth conference is under the auspices of the President Sisi.
Okay.
It has been it took place as a local meeting in Egypt, national meeting, between the President and the youth of Egypt, 4 times in 4 months. And we decided to move internationally. Okay. So we are hosting this coming meeting for the international youth in Sharm el-Sheikh. It's a beautiful city.
Yes.
I advise you to come and visit.
Well,
I invite you to come and visit.
Okay.
That's it. And it will take place from the 4th to the 9th. We had many South African youth going there. I think there are 12.
Okay.
They're going there. One of them was a lady, magnificent lady, 24 years old. She invented a bag, a school bag,
okay,
with a solar system, where children can put their stuff in the bag and generate the solar system.
Okay.
And when they go home, it works as a light.
Okay.
This girl should go to Egypt and meet with the youth and give them their experience, her experience.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. I met her.
Okay.
And I was fascinated with her. I invite you to come and visit Sharm el-Sheikh, and I invite the South Africans to follow this meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh. It is very interesting.
Okay.
Yes? The second question?
The Nile.
The Nile. the Nile. Okay, I worked with the Nile issue for 3 years in Egypt. I was the head negotiator of the Egyptian delegation with Ethiopia and Sudan. We never prevent the Nile countries to use the Nile. We take the share of Egypt from the Nile water, and taking in consideration that all the river basin countries has many other sources of water, but Egypt has only the Nile.
Okay. We can never talk about Egypt in 30 minutes.
No. No.
And
would you allow me to come again?
Yeah, I'll invite you.
Would your viewers allow me to come again?
Yeah, no. We will invite you, but make sure we only talk about the Nile.
We'll talk about anything you want.
Okay. Well, that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. For me and the crew, you have yourself a wonderful time. Ayba Khot.